What is up? Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. And today we are back reviewing a new film that I believe is only streaming
Yeah,
currently,
yeah,
anyways.
yeah. Although it did play a lot of festivals. I read about it playing
Yeah,
festivals.
yeah,
But Amazon Prime picked it up.
yeah. So Amazon
Yeah.
Prime, which is weird because I haven't seen a lot of films on Amazon Prime recently. So I was like, it was cool to see something that was new on Amazon Prime. It's always been like Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or Apple. I haven't
Yeah,
watched a whole lot on Amazon recently, so it's good.
yeah. They haven't had many like high-profile releases of their
Yeah,
own
yeah,
lately.
in quite some
Yeah.
time. Yeah, I mean they have a lot of older stuff that I see all
Oh
the
yeah.
time on there, but like new high-profile releases, it's been a hot minute. So,
Yeah.
but I digress. The film I'm referring to is called Emergency. And without further ado, I'll get right into it. So I'll actually take this one on. So Emergency is essentially a comedy, and it stars basically college kids, if you will. It's played by the star is Donald Elise Watkins, who plays, is it Kunal? Kun?
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid. Oh, that's right, Kool-Aid. Yeah, Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And then RJ Seiler, who plays Sean. And then they have another friend named Sebastian, but played by Sebastian Chacon named Carlos. Basically, the nuts and bolts of the story is Kunle and Sean are like best friends, and they're basically I think they all live together, right? No,
I
I
don't
don't know. I don't know
remember.
if they.
No, they're roommates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're roommates. And they basically it's getting towards the end of the year. They're I guess going to be graduating, something of that nature, or going to be going to grad school or something of that nature. It's a little confusing on the details with that. In any event, they decide to. Sean makes a plan to basically, he's kind of more of like the slacker type, where Kunle is more of like the studious, very rigid, typical, the one guy's a slacker, the other guy's more rigid, the typical straight man comedic person, if you will, or screw up, if you will. Well, Sean makes a plan to basically that they're going to go do basically bar hop for the night. Where they're basically going to go on like this adventure where they go to like all these different bars and drink. It's like something that
Parties. They're their house
yeah,
parties, right?
parties, yeah,
Yeah.
parties, yeah, parties, bars, whatever, yeah, clubs, clubbing parties. So they're gonna go and basically do a night of like debauchery, basically, where they go to all these different stops and have drinks and things of this nature. Uh, he's really excited about it. Kunle, on the other hand, is not quite as excited about it. I think he's just coming along for the ride. He's working on basically like this final like thesis project with like that's with this like uh, culture samples or whatever. They're like in a refrigerator kind of situation. So on the way out, he realizes that they have to take care of the culture samples, and they end up going back and making a stop. And when they come back and make a stop, they find like basically a drunk girl laying on the floor in their house. I should note that it's important to note that Sean and Kunle are black, and the girl that they find in the house is actually a white female or white girl that's basically out. And at first, they don't know if she's dead. They don't know who she is. They just find like a random girl just in their house that's just basically passed out, probably from drinking, or passed out or dead. And so the rest of the movie, in a nutshell, is basically these guys like trying to figure out what to do with her. So they come up with all these like suggestions. Okay, well, we can take her to the hospital, or we should call 911. But the situation just warranted. They were both kind of intimidated and scared to call 911. And also, Carlos is there as well. He was there the entire time, and he had no idea that the girl was there. Also, he was like in the back room playing video games or something like that, and didn't know that the girl was there unconscious. And so all three of them are trying to come up with all these plans of what to do with her. They didn't want to call the cops because it just didn't think like it was a good look. There's potentially a dead girl, passed out, either dead or passed out in their house. They don't know how she got there. It just doesn't look good, because there are three minorities, and there's, a Caucasian female that's just, maybe dead. So they decide that they're gonna, they try to think all these plans. So they basically pick her up and throw her in the car, and they're gonna, initially try to like basically either take her to the hospital, but there's a roadblock, or a speed trap there. So of course they're not gonna go through a speed trap with a girl that's either dead or passed out in the backseat of their car. That's obviously a bad look. And then so the rest of the night is basically them trying to figure out what they're going to do with this girl. Meanwhile, the girl's sister and some of her friends realizes that she is missing and gone, and so they basically are, but they're able to track her whereabouts on her phone, which is on her person, which these guys are unaware of, obviously. So they're able to track her location. So basically they spend the rest of the night like trying to chase these guys down, thinking that like she's been kidnapped or she's in some sort of danger. And so that's basically kind of the nutshell of the movie, if you will. So it's basically these guys, the guys that find the girl, basically are trying to figure out what to do with her, whether they can just drop her off someplace randomly or get her to the hospital. And then it's basically the girl that's passed out, her friends and sister are basically trying to track these guys down because they think that they kidnapped her. So it's just like one of those scenarios where you don't know how the scenario is going to play out. They're trying to be the good guys, but in a nutshell, they look like bad guys, And it deals a lot with like race, if you will. So that's where it really that's what you really have to think about. It's just like, how would it be if, a couple of minorities find a passed out or drunk girl, in their house that they don't know how she got there. What would you do in that scenario? Do you call the police and take the chance that, you're not going to be a suspect to, some sort of foul play? Or do you try to get her help? Or, and that's kind of where they were conflicted with. And that's kind of the nutshell of the story. So it was billed as like a comedy, dramedy. It does have some funny parts. I would definitely say it's, in my opinion, a little bit more on the drama side than on the straight comedy, although it does have a lot of funny and comedic elements to it. Overall, I liked it though. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good film. Obviously, I questioned some of their choices and things that they did, and some of the ways that they reacted. I don't know if I would have done all those same things if I was in that situation, but I mean, I can understand how they maybe looked at it, and that just comes to their upbringing and dealing with law enforcement and cops and that sort of stuff. So, and as anybody that's a minority knows that people tend to not always be the most trustworthy of law enforcement, that they're going to do the right thing if they call them or whatever case may be. So, their best advice was to try to avoid them at all costs so that they aren't like, thought to be the perpetrator of a crime, basically. So, but like I said, in a nutshell, I liked it overall. I thought it was an interesting film for sure. And it was, somewhat different. So I did enjoy that element of it. What was your take, Jason?
Oh yeah, I really liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. What really impressed me the most was how well it juggles all those different like shifts in tone, really, because it starts out like just a straight up like campus comedy a lot, you know what I mean? Because it's about, we're gonna go out tonight, we're gonna hit all these 8 parties, and we're gonna be, the first to do it, and it's pretty much straight up funny almost from the beginning. But it does a really good job, I thought, of like going from straight up comedy, topical comedy, to semi-topical comedy, I guess, like into like really, really intense drama, and it does that really smoothly. You know what I mean? Like it goes from like comedy to drama to suspense, and back and forth, and sometimes all 3 at the same time. And that's not easy to do. It really kind of amazes me that this is somebody's first movie. You know what I mean? Like on one hand, it comes across like somebody's first movie in the sense that it's pretty relatively small scale.
Yeah, the budget's not very big. There's no big name stars or anything like that. I recognize the RJ guy from he was in that Western, The Heart of They Fall, not too long ago. Right. So I did recognize him, but almost everybody else, they look familiar, or maybe I saw them in something, or none of them are household names or anything like that. That's for sure. So
no, but everybody's good in it. All the performances are good. But like, so in some senses it comes across like a first film, but like it has a lot more like skill and confidence, I guess you could say, than like, it's got a point of view that, in my opinion, it doesn't, it comes close a couple of times, but it doesn't get too heavy-handed with the social commentary, I don't think. It still presented it within the frame of the story. And just the juggling of the different tones from like comedy to drama to suspense to back to comedy to back to drama. That's That's not easy to do. So that really impressed me. I thought the acting was really good, especially what is his name that played Kunle? Donald Elise Watkins, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was in particular like a standout. Really good. And I don't know him from anything else.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know him from anything else, but I thought he was good in there as well. So
yeah. And it's also, I mean, it's a One Crazy Night movie. You know, we both like One Crazy Night movies.
yeah, it is a One Crazy Night movie for sure. Yeah, like I said, I liked it.
Yeah.
I know you say that they did it really well, but for me, part of it came across as a little uneven in parts because they tried to shift so many different tones in one film. So, I mean, I looked at it as it looked a little uneven to me. So, in some instances, I was just like, okay, it kind of to me felt like, well, what are we trying to be here? Are we trying to be a social commentary film? Are we trying to be a comedy? So it was just kind of a lot thrown in there a little bit. And so for me, it kind of, sometimes it pulled me back a little bit. I'm like, well, what kind of film are we trying to be here? So that's all I'm going to say. I did enjoy it, but I definitely, I didn't feel like it was seamless because I noticed the differences in the tones throughout the film. So I wouldn't necessarily argue that it was all seamless just because it pulls me out of the scene a little bit when I'm like, okay, wait a minute, is this a comedy or is this social commentary or is this like a dramedy or what is it that this film is trying to convey? And so I don't know, that to me that came across a little bit for a first-time director. So I felt that way in some instances, that I felt like there were certain instances where I was like, I don't know if they quite had the focus right all the way through the film. So might be nitpicky, but I felt like there were times where I was like, which direction are we going in? That was just my take though. So
yeah, no, I like that. To me, that was like, it made it not predictable. It was one of the rare movies where I really didn't know which way it was going to go at the end. You know what I mean? And I don't know, that it kind of kept me on my toes, I guess you could say. I wasn't able to tell what was going to happen next, which is one of my favorite things whenever I'm watching a movie. Because, frankly, whether you like it or not, most movies you have a general idea of how it's going to go, for the most part. Which I don't, that's not always a bad thing. It's just, it's just the way it happens, But this one, I really didn't know where it was going to go or how it was going to end. So I like that.
That's fair enough, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to add about Emergency?
Nope.
All right. Well, overall grade and face you would give this one.
That was a really strong movie. I give it a 4 out of 5, which is a solid B+. Definitely interested to see what this director does next, and any of the cast as well. I thought it was a real talented young cast. Good college movie, good crazy night movie, good suspense movie. Yeah, all around loved it. 4 out of 5.
Cool. Yeah, I went a little lower on this one than you did. I gave this one actually a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I liked it, but I did have some issues with. It just in some parts it felt a little uneven in terms of its tone, which you enjoyed. The fact that I noticed it throughout while I was watching it, I felt was an issue. So I felt like the film was still trying to figure out what it was trying to be, and maybe that's just a first-time director. Maybe that'll be this director's style moving forward. I don't know, but to me, it seemed like they were still a little trying to polish their skills and weren't 100% sure which direction they want to go into. So that's the way I came across with it. So I went with a 3 out of 5, which I like. So I just gave it a big smile. No teeth in this case, but it's something that I would watch again, but I wouldn't necessarily, I don't know, seek it out per se. But I would watch it again for sure. So cool. Well, let us know down in the comments. Did you like Emergency? Did you not like it? As always, if you like the channel, we ask that you like, subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification, and we'll be back again soon with another show. We thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.